Welcome back to the Charlie's Cavalry Coaches Show. I'm your host, John Moses. This week's co-athletes of the week are football quarterback Ryan Olszewski and wide receiver Jason Thompson. As previously discussed, the two were instrumental in the Chargers' NCAA second-round victory over Kutztown on Saturday, November the 26th. Both enjoyed career-setting days in the Chargers' 44-37 win. Thompson recorded 6 catches for 214 yards and an amazing 4 touchdowns. 4 of his 6 catches went for more than 40 yards, including a 64-yard touchdown pass midway through the fourth quarter. Olszewski broke a UNH record for total offensive yards in a game, as he recorded 433 passing and 28 rushing yards in the win. He completed 23 of 31 pass attempts for 433 yards and an amazing 5 touchdowns. With those numbers, he boasted a remarkable 244.75 passer efficiency rating. Our Week 13 co-athletes of the week, junior wide receiver from Stuart, Florida, Jason Thompson, and junior quarterback from Seymour, Connecticut, Ryan Olszewski. This week, I caught up with Ryan and Jason to discuss the Chargers' playoff run and their accomplishments to date. I'm joined now by Chargers quarterback Ryan Olszewski and Chargers wide receiver Jason Thompson. And Ryan, first for you, you've really developed a great rhythm and chemistry with Jason this season. Talk a little bit about how that's gone.
Yeah, it's going great. As you can see, I don't know. We just worked in the off season, worked during camp, and just took it into the season. And we try to get better every week. We work hard, and things are just working out.
Well, Jason, there are a lot of plays you call this season that are designed routes looking for you deep over the top. When that type of play is called, what type of things are you looking for in the defense?
I'm just hoping for Jay Smart or Ruff to pull down the safety for me. And when I see the safety down, usually it's one-on-one, really one-on-one. And when I get that, usually I'm open and I can make a play.
Well, Ryan, I'll pose the same question to you. When you have a route designed looking for Jason over the top, what types of things are you looking for in the defense, particularly pre-snap?
Like he said, pre-snap, it doesn't. Once the play is going, I just want that safety to get pulled down. So once the safety's pulled down, it's one-on-one with the corner, and I'm throwing it up.
Well, right before the half against Kutztown, you guys hooked up for a huge momentum boost. That Hail Mary pass. Ryan, take us through that play. What did you see on the defense, and how about your offensive line giving you a great chance to throw that ball?
Well, I'll go back to the beginning of the series. I thought we were just going to take a knee because there's only 17 seconds. I didn't think Russ wanted to risk anything, but we got 2 quick throws, and one to Jay and one to Smart, and that kind of put us on the 44, I believe, and it gave us a good shot to just throw it up to Jay. And we always run the Hail Mary on Fridays, so we knew what we were doing. The line blocked it perfect and just opened up a perfect pocket for me to step up. And I just let it go, and Jay made up and made a great catch.
I feel the funny part was that we always throw it from the 40. If every time we practice it, we throw it from the 40. And when Jay Smart called the pass, we were on the 40. And I was laughing, and then Coach goes, Hail Mary. And I go, that's exactly what we always practice throwing it from.
That's true.
And then we ran it from the 40 and, perfect spiral. And I just felt like I just jumped up there, and I got it. I was in, complete shock. So I was real excited.
Well, you guys are well on your way to eclipsing some great single-season and career numbers. Ryan, you're now the career leader in completions and passing yards. And talk a little about having your name all over the record books and what that really means to you.
It feels great, but you can't get distracted by that. You got to keep going, keep playing, keep working, and that's what it is. You just got to keep working, and you reflect on it, but you can't be distracted by it.
Well, Jason, it's a similar situation for you. You're 5 yards away from becoming the 5th receiver in Charger history to have 1,000 yards in a season. You're 2 touchdowns shy of the single-season record for receiving touchdowns in a season. So what does it mean to you to be so close to some career records and single-season records?
I look at that as stuff I can tell my dad and stuff when I go to see him. But right now, I'm just worrying about winning, like he said, something to reflect on later.
Well, you guys have hooked up for a lot of touchdowns this season. Other than the Hail Mary versus Kutztown, which ones really stick out to you?
Probably the 80-yarder, St. Ace, because, we always get deep ones, but I feel like they're not that deep. I was always waiting for a big one like that. So
yeah, a lot of our deep passes always get tripped up at the 2 every time, and I don't know. I was able to break that away. I like the one in Southern.
The Southern one was good. Yeah, that one was really good.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about that one against Southern.
Yeah, that was kind of the same play, but instead of him going across the field, he faked like he's going across and goes back towards the back of the end zone. And he just went up and got 2 feet in, and it was awesome.
I look at that as a route because it always throws the corner off when he sees me running. And he sees everybody flowing the other way, and then I go back, and I don't know, just the ball was there.
That one was nice. Yeah.
Well, you guys have Winston-Salem State in the regional championship this weekend. You guys have done a ton of preparation for that. What does it look like this weekend?
It's going to be a very exciting game. Offensively, we just have to come to play, keep doing what we've been doing, stay positive. They're going to make plays. We just have to keep fighting, and our guys will be all right. I know we'll be all right. We just got to keep playing.
Good team, but like I look at it as like us fighting for respect because I feel like nobody never respects us. So I feel like we're going to go down there and show them something. So that's what I'm looking forward to, playing against adversity. Thanks.
Well, guys, thanks so much for your time. Good luck this Saturday against Winston-Salem.
All right, thank you.
On the other side of this break, we'll talk to Chargers head men's basketball coach, Ted HOTALING. This is the Charlie's Cavalry Coaches Show. Welcome back to the Charlie's Cavalry Coaches Show. I'm your host, John Moses. The Chargers men's basketball season started with wins over Dowling and St. Rose, but have dropped their last 2 to Adelphi and Pace. To talk more about the men's basketball team, we're joined now by head men's basketball coach Ted HOTALING. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, in the first 2 games of your season, you scored 71 and 80 points on offense. Yet in the last 2 games, you scored just 61 and 45. Where has your team struggled on offense?
Yeah, I think the biggest factor has been our turnovers. So in the last 2 games, we've turned the ball over 33% of the time, which is 1 out of every 3 possessions. And it's not always ball handling and passing. Sometimes it's illegal screens, it's charges. But we've taken the ball out of our hands quite a bit in these last 2 games. And even if you shoot at a high clip, if you turn it over majority of the time, you can really struggle to score points.
Well, absolutely. And did you expect to have such high turnover totals early in the season here? You're working with a relatively young team.
Yeah, I expected it from some of our guys. You look at a kid like Jeff Atkins, who's really improved. Last year he was a little bit under 1-to-1 assist to turnover. This year he's 18-to-8. But then we've had some of our newer players struggle with turnovers a little bit, just going a little too fast, or maybe seeing things that aren't there and passing the ball. But again, it's been a little bit sloppy with our screening and our charges as well. So it's been a lot of factors, and hopefully we can clean it up as we move forward.
Your team is one of the very few in the conference that starts 2 6'8" forwards in your front court. Talk about how they've changed your defensive dynamic early in this season.
Yeah, we've actually really defended well. We're holding teams to 39% from the field right now, which, if you hold teams under 40, you're doing your job. But really, we're second in the league in shot blocks right now. London Barek has been a great presence for us in the post. It's very rare for someone to score on him one-on-one on the block. And then Eric's length just in the post has been real good as well. Last year we doubled so much and left ourselves open to wide open threes. Just their presence inside has allowed us to guard one-on-one, protect the three-point line a little bit more when the ball goes inside. And just having shot blockers does change shots as well. The one thing that has happened with our shot blocking, we haven't defensive rebounded as well, which we have to clean up on the weak side quite a bit.
What are some of the defensive concepts you really stress to your team on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, we always talk about winning the paint. We want to be very stingy. We start in transition, giving no easy baskets. We do want to attack the offensive glass, but our first priority is to get back and get set and make teams attack a set defense. So we've been really good with that. And then after that, it's guard the ball one-on-one. Obviously, with screening, there's 2-on-2 type situations. But we really protect the paint, and our job is to protect the backboard. So we've made teams miss. We haven't had a ton of success in the second half of our last 2 games in defensive rebounding. But I think the more we rep that, I think the better we'll get.
In your last game against Pace, you had a nearly 7-minute drought from the field.
Right.
Now that you've had a chance to go back and look at the film, and I know for a fact you've looked at it more than once, what did your team really struggle with down the stretch in that game?
Yeah, I think a lot of credit goes to Pace. Pace, probably plays very similar to us on the defensive end. They were very good in transition defense. They were very good at really harassing the ball handler and really good at walling off the rim, protecting the paint. We need to finish a little bit better inside the arc. We haven't done that as effectively this year as we had last year. And then again, turnovers really have hurt us, and turnovers in big spots. But when you turn it over, there's no defense for a turnover. It's more than likely, if it's live ball, it's going to be 2 points at the other end. So we missed some shots we hope to make in the future, and again, we have to clean up our turnovers.
Well, early in the season, it's pretty clear that opposing teams are really keying on Justin Exum on the defensive end. Who are you really looking to pick up and be that second scoring option for your team?
We need a bunch of different guys to step up, and just a bunch of guys just to, when it's their turn to shoot it in. London has struggled from the field a little bit. We expect him to improve. Eric had a great start the year, shooting over 57% in his first 2 games, and just has struggled a little bit the last 2 games scoring. Jeremy Williams has picked it up from 3-point range quite a bit. So we're going to get it from a bunch of different areas. Samir McDaniels has been very efficient inside the arc. So it's not really just one guy. I think we'll have multiple guys. We've had 3 or 4 guys in double figures at one time during games. So I think that'll be the case for us the whole year.
I feel like Jeff Adkins' play is really a great indicator of how your team plays. If Jeff is playing well, things really mesh for you on both ends of the floor. Talk a little bit about Jeff's game and his strengths.
Yeah, first of all, Jeff is a very athletic, very fast guard. He's a very good finisher at the rim. You look at him as a freshman, he made 52% of his shots, majority of them coming inside the arc. This year, he's well over 50% as well. The best thing about Jeff is I think he understands what his game is, and he doesn't let what he can't do get in the way of what he can. So he's not trying to take shots he can't make. Therefore, he's always shooting a high percentage. But the one thing he's really improved on is really seeing the floor and making passes to get guys shots. Yesterday he was 5 assists, 0 turnovers in a game where they really pressured our guards. So he's just done a great job taking care of the ball, making good decisions, getting in and finishing. And obviously, we've talked about this before, his defense, really keys us on the perimeter.
Early in the season, Samir McDaniels has really had a great impact on your team, particularly on the defensive glass. He's actually your team's 3rd leading rebounder, despite coming off mostly in a bench role.
Yep.
Talk about Samir, his game, and what he really brings to your team.
Yeah, he's very similar to Jeff. He has deficiencies just like everyone else does as a player. But again, he doesn't allow those things that he can't do well interfere with what he can do well. So Samir is very efficient inside the arc. He knows that's where he's going to score his points. He's very tough. He's probably the toughest player in our program physically. He does dig out a lot of offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds. He takes charges. He knows where the ball should go on offense. He's not over dribbling or over penetrating. He just does all the things that coaches love. And when you go back and watch the film, when you take your notes, guys like Jeff and Samir are always in red, always doing good things, great decision, great charge taking, great block out. And that's what Samir really brings for us. Just a very high intelligence and very, very tough.
Well, right now your team's leading the conference in 3-point shooting at 41%. Talk about some of your team shooters and how well they've done early in this season.
Yeah, we haven't made as many this year as we did last year. I think we're taking better shots. I also think people are very aware of the 3-point arc for us, and they're running us off the line. But we know that Justin Exum is going to be a great shooter. He has 3 threes a game at almost 40% last year. He's going to probably reach that clip again. Jeremy Williams is a very good shooter. He should be in the 38 to 42% range. And then after that, Eric Anderson, we hope, is going to be a consistent 3-point shooter. We hope Christian Forias will get more minutes as the year goes on and be a consistent shooter. Jeff has made 2 already. He missed 2 last night late in the game, but he's taken the right ones. So I don't know if we have a abundance of shooters, but we have the right guys taking those shots, and obviously they're doing a good job making them.
Eric Anderson was named the Northeast 10 Rookie of the Week for the week ending November 21st, the first week of the season. How do you feel like he's adjusting to the college game?
Yeah, I think he's doing great. He's first of all, he's a very responsible kid on and off the floor. I think that's allowed him to have so much success this early. But he's very intelligent. He knows the answers to most of the questions that the coaches pose. He just has a great feel for the game. And he's just very talented. He's very skilled. He's got great length. He's 6'8" and can dribble, pass, and shoot. He's a very good rebounder. He leads us in rebounding right now. He's just a guy that's very talented, but that, with that, is also a very responsible, very intelligent kid. And obviously that's a great recipe for having a lot of success in his career.
Well, this Wednesday you play the Assumption College Greyhounds, a team that you really battled closely last year, ended up losing to by 4 points. How do you feel like you match up with them this season?
Yeah, it's a new coach, new system. They have very good size up front. I think our size has been very good defending size. They're leading the league in field goal percentage, so they do get great shots. They have a very good point guard, Rosniak, who's leading the league in assists. It'll be a great challenge for us to defend them, but I think, as we fine-tune our offense, I hope it's a challenge for them to defend us as well. But if we can clear up a few things, our turnovers and especially defensive rebounding, I think we have a great chance to compete with anyone in our league.
Well, Assumption's the first of 2 home games you have this week. Have you done any preparation for Lemoyne this Saturday?
No, we just go one at a time. The old coaching adage, but we'll finish the game, the Pace game today with our program, watch the film, and then once we finish the game from Pace, we'll move on to Assumption, and that'll be in our sights here on Wednesday.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for your time. Good luck this week.
Great, thanks so much.
For more, be sure to tune to NewHavenChargers.com, or for a completely student perspective, tune to charliescavalry.wordpress.com.